What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Friday, by the way. TGIF. Hopefully, you guys are having a good one, and hopefully, you guys have some good weekend plans coming up. Now, in this video here, we're going to be tackling the brand new Ice Golem tournament. Now, this Ice Golem tournament has special conditions. We're only using champions from one faction, but luckily, it is a faction of our choosing. So there is some flexibility there, but keep in mind that if you guys are doing this tournament, make sure your whole team is from a single faction. Don't spend your energy without getting that double checked first. So we're going to be tackling the Ice Golem tournament in this video, but at the same time, I want to get as much points in the other events as possible for as little energy as possible, just so we can be as efficient as we can. So let's try to get points for the Ice Golem tournament, the Champion Training Tournament, and the ongoing Heroes Path. So we can triple dip in this event. And I'll show you guys how. Well, a couple alternatives as well. And I'll show you guys what team I'll be using, what works, and how you guys can do it for yourselves. All right, guys, so hopping into the dungeon map here, going into the Ice Golem, we do have a boost on Provoke gear. It's not super important if you have, one usable set of Provoke. That's probably good enough. So you can use it if you want to for like Hydra teams and stuff like that. But it's not a priority set or anything. The best spot for dungeon points is going to be, about stage 20. Doing other levels is generally a little bit less efficient in terms of energy. We want to do this as efficiently as possible, just because the gear is not too important for us at this stage in the game. So stage 20 is where we're going to be hanging out, and I'll show you guys what I'll be using. So for this account, I'm on the alt account here today, just to show you guys one alternative. We're going to be using Stokk here. So Stokk is he's an old fusion from, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years ago, back in, I want to say the fall or winter time. He's going to be pretty good for this dungeon for Ice Golem in particular, because the Ice Golem is actually weak to poisons. So here we got the AoE attack with the poisons coming out, and then he's got the increased duration of poisons. And then he's also got a double hit here to activate the poisons. He's also got speed aura, so you can get more turns, and that's very important for these type of runs, these solo teams. Basically, you bring one guy in and he carries the entire team, and then you bring some food in so you get some points for the training. But any kind of poisoner like this, like Stokk, can definitely do some work here. So let's jump into this. I'll show you guys the gear on Stokk afterwards for this particular run. But this is basically the gist of what's happening. So he goes in. He's going to bring some food with him. Make sure they're all the same faction. So like, we're trying to make sure that we get the conditions right so that we get the points for the tournament. So he's an Ogryn tribe. Make sure you bring all Ogryns. And then, yeah, we're just going to be slowly chipping away at these waves. Not the fastest clears, guys. So make sure you guys, have it set up so that your auto battles are running while maybe like you're making dinner or you're at work, for example. But these won't be the fastest runs. A little bit annoying on wave 1 because we do have self cleansers. So having things like Brimstone, having things like War Master, it's definitely going to speed up the run because you'll be able to do damage to the waves. That's not just relying on poison damage, for example, like these two. At the end, it's going to take a little bit of time, which is very annoying. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole run, so we'll have a chat once we get back to the boss. All right, we made it to the boss after about 2.5 minutes going through the waves here. Let's see how well he fares against this. For the build that I have, having resistance on him is very, very safe, because you basically stop them from applying the heal reduction and decreased defense and stuff. This allows you to continue healing yourself, keeping yourself alive. We are on stage 20 here, so the boss doesn't necessarily hit super, super hard. He obviously will kill you if you don't have a lot of stats. I'll show you guys the stats on him as well. But you can kind of see that my Stokk is pretty overkill right now. He's not really taking any damage, to like 9k from that one swipe. Those swipes aren't going to do anything to him. He does place continuous heals on himself from one of his abilities, which is just crazy. So you don't really need, like, all that healing. Obviously, we do have a healing set on him. So he is healing every turn he takes. But he does bring continuous heal on himself as well. So here, we're probably going to finish this in about 4 minutes. And yeah, I'll show you guys the build here real quick. So the Ice Golem drops pretty quick with poisons. Poisons also allow you to bypass his big slams because the damage he takes from poisons doesn't trigger his big slams, and that's the trick, right? That's the trick against the Ice Golem, just to not die from his big slams, and this should do it. Whoa, see, look, that big slam. There's 58,000 HP on that big hit, so just a bit of a marker there for you guys. So about 4 minutes here on this run. You can see we're getting points for the Ice Golem, we're getting points for the training tournament, and we're getting points towards the Hero's Path. All here. This is one run, 16 energy. And like I said, stage 20 will be the most efficient for basically all three events. Let's take a quick look at what we're using here. So we got Stokk the Broken. We got him in a regeneration set only. So regeneration and immortal is nice. That's a lot more healing. Show you the total stats here. You definitely don't need these stats for the Ice Golem. Like we got 90k HP. That's definitely not necessary. You know, you can cut this down to maybe 65, 70k. It's perfectly fine. For stage 20, anything above 250 speed is fine. Resistance about 300 is good. For stage 20, about 200 accuracy is perfectly good. In terms of the overall build for him, I don't have a relic on. You can definitely put a relic if you want. A rack elixir is the best one because that's going to speed up all your, all your poison, not speed up, but increase the damage of all your poison ticks. In terms of blessing, Brimstone's pretty good at helping you clear out some waves. So that's probably going to be the suggestion if you're using a legendary champion for this kind of strategy. And then for masteries, if you have masteries, it's going to speed up the run quite a bit. So what you want to do for masteries is you want to avoid War Master. War Master is going to help you go through the waves quickly, but you kind of have to balance out the build a little bit because War Master can actually trigger the boss's retaliation slam. So you have to be careful with this because you want the run to be as close to 100% as possible. You don't want RNG, to go against you against the boss, and then the boss kills you with the big slam. So I actually prefer having something like Oppressor. Oppressor gives you turn meter for every active debuff, and for these poison type of builds, they put out a lot of poisons. And then you're going to get a lot of turn meter. You're going to cycle back to your abilities pretty quickly. If you're building out masteries, the other one that's really good is Master Hexer. You extend the duration of your poison debuffs, meaning that you'll have more on more often. Another one that's really good is Spirit Haste. This is just going to give you a flat, nice speed boost. So make sure you take that if you're taking masteries. Now this is the build with Stokk. Stock's just one option. I'll show you guys a couple more options with a couple different build variations so you guys get a sense of what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to hop over to the main account. We got a couple champs there ready to go. All right, so for this run, we're running Venom Mage. Venom Mage, a very, very powerful epic. A lot of you guys might actually have Venom Mage. I believe you can get her from one of those starting link promo codes. She's amazing. If you have her, definitely don't feed her or anything like that. You're going to be finding a lot of use for her in your raid career, for example. But you can kind of see her here. She's going to be able to deal with these waves slowly, and then we're going to show you guys the fight against the boss. It's great because she is magic affinity, so then she can actually do some pretty good work here. And she died. Why did she die? She doesn't have any gear on. So I'm going to put some gear on her, and then we'll go back in it. All right, really sorry about that, guys. She didn't have gear on, but now she does. So she's going to be able to do her thing here. So like I said, she's going to plow through these waves a little bit slowly, and then we'll get to the boss and see how well she performs. I'll show you guys the build and all that. We have one more alternative after Venom Mage that can kind of do this. And I think, like I said, we'll show you guys some different variations. Venom Mage's build is going to be a little bit different than Stock's build, for example, and she's an epic, makes her a lot more accessible. So yeah, we'll have a chat when we get to, let's talk about the next wave here. All right, let's get to the next wave. So this wave actually can be troublesome because it has reflect damage. So your champion needs to have a little bit of survivability, like HP and defense, to survive this wave. So you gotta make sure that you guys make sure you have the proper stats. But you can kind of see here, Venom Mage, not too bad. She is magic affinity, as I mentioned, so she's gonna be pretty good for this. And there we go. Yeah, gotta be careful with those reflect from these Terrorbees. And then she gets through. There we go. Now against the boss, this is gonna be pretty good, pretty solid, I think. Decreased accuracy landed on us a little bit, RNG, of course. There's a 3% chance of them landing any kind of debuffs, even if we had 1 million resistance. Again, reminder, resistance stat to shoot for a stage 20 is about 300. Also, keep in mind area bonuses and all that stuff also help if you guys have some of those. Here we go. Venom Mage doing the business here. Decreased defense. Now, decreased defense not necessary, but it does speed things up a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna get done here in just about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 215, pretty quick, right? Compared to the stock. And I'll show you guys exactly why she is so quick. So there we go. We got the triple dip. We got three sets of points for 3 different events, which is amazing. And yeah, we'll show you guys the build here for the Venom Mage. So here's going to be the build. We got Regen and Immortal. Immortal wasn't necessary when we were having stock, but for Venom Mage, she does have slightly less base HP, so her HP overall is going to be much lower. You can kind of see here total stats 66k. So that stock had almost 90k. So this one we had Venom Mage at 66k. Like I said, this is probably going to be like the minimum that you want to come in here. We traded a lot of HP for speed. So here we got speed. Speed's going to speed up the run overall. So if you're looking to be, a little bit faster, speed's going to help you out. Resistance, a little bit shy, but I think we have, sorry, excuse me. We do have bonuses here. Yes, we do have bonuses from the area. So 300 resistance. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Accuracy, definitely overkill here with close to 500. She does bring an accuracy aura, which is going to help you out as well. But you definitely don't need these stats. Like I said, 250 speed, 300 resistance, 200 accuracy is plenty for stage 20. It's just how fast you want the run to happen. We do have the elixir. This is another reason why the run is so quick. The elixir will boost up the damage of your poisons. It's based on an attack, so you can gear for attack as well, but that's asking a little bit much in terms of overall stats. But just having it on, it's going to speed things up quite a bit. We do have Phantom Touch. They're like mini War Master hits, so they're going to speed up the some of the wave clearing stuff. You can definitely take something like Cruelty or something like that. But she's an epic, so she's going to have limited amount of blessing that you can choose. So I chose Phantom Touch here. And we don't have Masteries. Masteries will speed up the run even further if you wanted to go that route. And again, taking something like Oppressor here would be really good. Master Hexer, and of course Spirit Haste to take advantage of the food and stuff. So that's Venom Mage. So I'm going to show you guys the build on a champion that's maxed out with the proper relic with Masteries. So here's what I'll be using. I'll be using this Priest Ornn here. He's going to be neutral affinity against stage 20, which is fine. Make sure you have proper food champion set up so you guys fulfill the conditions. But my Priest Ornn is fully built. So he's empowered. He has a decent sized blessing. He has the appropriate relic on, and he is fully mastered out. So that's going to be a big difference compared to what we showed earlier with the stock and with the Venom Mage. They weren't properly built out, like fully. So in this case, we do have a fully built out Priest Ornn, and I'll show you guys exactly how well he performs. So we're going to cut through this wave here a lot quicker than we did with the other champions. A lot of that's going to come down to like the masteries. And yeah, just his overall build. So we'll show you guys the full run here just because just shows you guys that what he's capable of, or what a properly built solo champion can do, or solo poisoner can do with this kind of build. With more stats, you can obviously do higher difficulty. But like I said, stage 20 will be the best in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of points and stuff. We're going to cut through these two pretty quickly. So we make it to the boss in a minute, which is very solid. And you can kind of see here, he's laying the poisons out. 10k hit from that swipe from the boss there. Barely tickling us. We do get the hero reduction landed on us. So, there is a 3% chance of that happening. regardless of how much resistance you have. So it is a little bit frustrating. And yeah, there we go. All right, all his minions are dead. Now we're just going to focus down the boss. Let's see if we can make it in about 2 minutes here. So this is where like things like masteries are really important. It just gives you more duration on your debuffs, which means you don't have to constantly apply them. There we go. Poison sensitivity also increases the damage output of the poisons. What do we got here? Each tick is 43,000 with the sensitivity and stuff. You really want, Ornn to just drop more of his AoE poisons, right? Because the focusing down of the ads is quite annoying. It eats up quite a bit of the time and stuff. And there we go. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds from the Priest Ornn here. Unfortunately, not as fast as the Venom Mage, which is a little bit surprising. I'll show you guys the build here and what works. But those are some options that will work for you guys if you guys want to try them out. So Priest Ornn here, we do have the same gear from the Venom Mage, similar speed. So 300 speed, it's definitely going to be a higher end for this dungeon that you need. 300 resistance with, at least 200 accuracy is enough for stage 20. These are my stats with the bonuses. We do run, the Arach Elixir. It's going to help out a little bit. So if you have like a stage, if you have a stage anything Elixir, that's going to help. So we're just using our +3, just a little bit of boost. Phantom Touch here for some additional damage for the waves. And then we are running full masteries here with the Oppressor Mastery. And like I mentioned, Spirit Haste, Master Hexer are very important. And then you basically just take abilities to speed up your turn meter so you can get more turns to cycle back to your key abilities. So there we go. A couple options for you guys for this dungeon so you guys get maximum points for maximum events. Priest Ornn, Venom Mage, Stokk, all viable. There's going to be a couple more champions that can do it with similar builds, basically regeneration builds. If you guys are hurting for stats or hurting for survivability, something like the Golden Elixir, like this, will be, very, very useful. It's going to protect you from the waves hitting you because they don't hit particularly hard. But all those little hits kind of add up, especially if you're a bit on the slower side. So putting the Golden Elixir will protect you from the smaller hits. So that's going to be helpful. But if you just want to go full damage, speed things up, go with the Arach Elixir. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Some cheap, more budget options for you guys to get through this tournament, and then get points and credit for the other events as well. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing for this. Make sure you guys you are using one specific fraction. Don't mess that up. Thanks for watching until the end. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It would really help me out. Have a great Friday, and I'll see you guys in the next video.